The European Union will soon expand again. Next year, 2 new members, Romania and Bulgaria, are joining. The European Popular Party held their annual late summer gathering in the French city of Lyon. The meeting was titled the European Ideas Network. One issue on the table was EU enlargement. In front of EuroNews cameras, 2 Popular Party MEPs, one Doris Pack from Germany, debated the issue with Gunnar Hökmark of Sweden.
When it comes to Romania and Bulgaria, I have a problem. We promised them they could join in 2007, but we can't make promises like that because there are strict conditions that have to be respected first to become EU members. And in both countries, those conditions have not been met. We can see that with Hungary today. In 2004, we welcomed in 10 new countries. That was huge. And we didn't make sure every single one had met the rules for joining ahead of time.
I think that's important, and sometimes we tend to forget that it is the pre-enlargement that is just as important, the development to countries that can fulfill the criteria. I think that is one of the wonders of Europe today, when we saw what happened in the 10 new member states. So very rapid development into rule of law, market economy, open societies. And I think it's important to question every new country if they are fulfilling the criteria, because that is a part of the dynamic process.
We've seen in the past decades, and certainly in the last 16 years, the difficulties that can occur. Take the turmoil in the Balkans, for example. Stability can be achieved there when we give each of these troubled countries the hope of one day joining the EU. But there has to be some give and take first. New members have to respect strict guidelines that were spelt out in Copenhagen. But we also have a duty to set standards of our own and ask ourselves, are we ready to welcome in new members to the EU? And at the moment, I don't think we're ready to welcome new members because we haven't yet passed a new constitution. We're running the EU using temporary measures and with rules that were put in place when there were just 6 countries in the European Union.
Wir haben Instrumente und Institutionen, die stammen aus der Zeit, als wir noch 6 waren.
But we must also ask us another question that I think we have not really discussed, and that is the cost of no enlargement, which we tend to forget, because a no enlargement is a missed opportunity. When we have countries coming in, either as candidates or having become members, they are developing on a road of stability and democracy. If we close the door, we are running the risk that they, or forces inside them, or forces around them, will in some way make another destiny of those countries to a rather big cost for us. So in sometimes when we discuss this is not the time, I say, well, maybe, but it is maybe not the time to say no either.
Am Ende muss es möglich sein, dass alle Mitglied werden, denn sie
Take the
liegen
Balkan
mitten in der
countries
Europäischen
again.
Union.
In the end, they should all have the right to join the EU because they would be at the heart of Europe. Their other neighbours are Slovenia, Italy and Greece, and of course Romania and Bulgaria. I think it's in our interest that there is stability in that region and that youths there find work and stay where they are. Everyone agrees that we need to help those countries become stable and then at the right moment open the doors so they can join us in the EU.
Und dann, wenn es soweit ist, die Türen wirklich ganz zu öffnen.
I think if we can stabilize this part of Europe, it is giving stability to a much wider area with the security of Europe as a contribution.
Wir müssen wissen, was können wir noch?
We need to know what we're still capable of achieving. We're at bursting point already. If we let another country in, say with a population of 100 million, take Turkey for example, where only a tiny percentage of its residents live on the European continent, if they join, then we have to let Ukraine in because it's European, and after that Belarus because they are Europeans too. So I think we really need to sit down and think about what we really can do, and we need to work closely with Turkey, but not by offering future EU membership. We have to help Turkey in other ways, so it doesn't need to become a member.
Mitglied der Europäischen Union zu werden, denn eigentlich wird sie das gar nicht wollen.
One thing is very important to underline is that Turkey is not to be a member if they can't fulfill criteria and be a modern society. But having said that, I do see quite a good value of Turkey becoming a member, creating the security in that part of Europe, contributing to bridging over the rift we were just discussing about Balkan, because in this long historical perspective, Turkey belongs to the European history regarding Balkan. I mean, he was one of the big conflicts during centuries. But also if we look upon the modern times political challenges, energy security, and once again, we must discuss not only what happens if we say yes, but also the consequences if we say no, to close the door, because then Turkey and politics in Turkey will choose another direction.
Die Frage der Sicherheit. Die Türkei ist schon immer in der NATO.
On the question of security, Turkey has been a member of NATO for years, and that has nothing to do with the EU. On the second issue of Turkey becoming a real democracy as we know it in the West, then it needs to reduce the influence of its army. We have to push Turkey to reform its army so it can no longer carry out the role carved out for it by Ataturk. He created a strong army to protect the state against Islamic influences. The military must no longer be able to decide Turkey's direction. And I'm not one of those who thinks Turkey can be a bridge to the Muslim world, because it has no influence there. I think you can't claim the situation regarding Turkey is better than it really is. We need to help Turkey become a genuine democracy.
Wir sollten versuchen, der Türkei auf dem Weg zu einer funktionierenderen Demokratie zu helfen.
I think it can contribute not as a link to the Arab world, because you're totally right. Turkey is not a bridge to the Arab world, but as a bridge to the Muslim societies in Europe as well as in other parts of the world. We are also living in a world which is not only depending on geopolitics, it's also a virtual world where we have a clash of not civilizations but a clash of ideas. And I want us to have as strong support as possible to fight the totalitarians wherever they are and however they hide themselves.